Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning, Donna.
It is a good morning.
It is a beautiful morning out there. I hope everybody is having an amazing morning.
It's a bright, sunshiny day.
It really is. And it's a good day to have a good day.
Oh, I agree. I agree. Welcome, all of you.
Yes, welcome.
And we have another request. This was from Allison, my
Yay,
daughter.
yeah.
And I am so excited about this song, Bruce, because I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, this was like one of my favorite songs growing up. So we're going back in time.
I felt that. I walked in to a moment that I remember because there are sometimes that we have to discuss very intricate little particulars about being here with you guys out there. Mm-hmm. And that little particular thing is making sure that both of us have a printout of the lyrics that we're going to read to you and discuss. And we have some really key helpers in this whole process. And Allison, your daughter, mm-hmm. is somebody that always helps us out in ways that you guys have no idea. And so I actually got to witness some of the conversation of thinking about the song. And I remember it was like a trip back in time for me.
Yes.
I could see you singing
Yes.
this song. And it was fun to think about the fact that you sang a song that you loved. And then, Allison was like, yeah, you used to sing this song all the time. And
I didn't. And that's the crazy thing.
That's amazing.
I didn't remember that,
That's
but
amazing.
I saw the song and I lit up.
Cross-generational resonation. Yeah.
Yes, we appreciate you, Allison.
Yes, we do.
Allison Bedrosian, my beautiful daughter. So she has requested A Horse with No Name by America. All right, here we go. On the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rings. The first thing I met was a fly with a buzz and the sky with no clouds. The heat was hot and the ground was dry, but the air was full of sound. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. After 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. And after 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at a riverbed. And the story is told of a river that flowed, made me sad to think it was dead. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain. After 9 days, I let the horse run free, 'cause the desert had turned to sea. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and rings. The ocean is a desert with its life underground and a perfect disguise above. Under the cities lies a heart made of ground, but the humans will give no love. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain. In the desert, you can't remember your name, 'cause there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
We're talking, oh, I remember this. I just love this. Of course, I'm a horse girl, and I loved horses. So I was drawn to this song because he was on a horse.
Absolutely.
A horse with no name.
It's a song that I loved because I loved its sound. I am I have to admit to the listeners out there that there are times when I read these songs to you and I can't believe what I'm hearing in the moment that I'm reading them, even though I've listened to the song so much. I've listened to this song so much, and I love this song because it reminds me of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. It reminds me of one of those gentlemen that I just, Neil Young. It reminds me of those singers, and the harmony in the song is beautiful. The way they sing it, it's just beautiful.
Yes.
But it's true, and here we are, and the very first line is, on the first part of the journey, I was looking at all the life. And it's like, oh, hey, that's for
plants and birds and rocks and things.
There was sand and hills and rings. And
Yes.
I believe that this is, to me, a little bit deeper, because I think of this journey as like the journey that we're all on.
Oh, yes.
And I think that, we resonate with that.
Life.
Yes, it is a true journey, and it's individual, and it's beautiful.
So for me, it is a description of the awakening, of his awakening.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
He is on a journey looking at all life.
Yeah.
The first, plants and birds and rocks and things, sand and hills and rings.
Rings is an interesting comment there. And I wonder if that is to kind of be a reference to, you could think of it maybe it's a reference to a fire circle. Maybe it's a reference to Stonehenge. Maybe
Fairy rings.
Fairy rings. Excellent. Yeah.
But you know what else? Suddenly what dropped in my head? Wedding rings.
Wedding rings. Yes. The rings that are symbolic. There's
Bringing life together.
Yes.
Connecting.
Yes.
Connecting souls.
Circle of life.
Yes, circle of life.
The reincarnation of life in the circle of life. There's many beautiful.
The word rings there is a very interesting choice.
It is,
because he's talking about everything physical on earth.
Yeah.
Plants and birds and rocks and things and sand and hills.
And rings.
And rings.
I believe that it's more than just a rhyme.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too. Yes.
And I love, and I think that truly, because then it says, the first thing I met was a fly with a buzz, and the sky with no clouds. And I think, gosh, if you were just laying in the middle of a field on your back in this beautiful field, and you had your eyes closed for a second, that would probably be the first thing you would hear, is maybe the buzz of a fly. Maybe you'd open your eyes and see the sky with no clouds, and maybe there would be. You never know. I mean, whatever day it might be, and maybe it's not a fly. Maybe it's a bumblebee buzzing by. Who knows?
Right. But what the fascinating thing also to me is the fact that the first thing I met was a fly with a buzz.
Yes, that's very significant.
Most people see a fly, and I don't think they hear or resonate with the buzz.
No, that's so true.
For me, resonating with the buzz is what I am captivated
Absolutely.
with.
It's
the frequency of that fly.
That's the journey.
Yes.
From the beginning.
Yes.
It's described as, on the first part of the journey, it's said that way, but really they are saying frequency. Yeah, absolutely.
So the buzz and the sky with no clouds. Most people, I believe, resonate with the blue sky as calming, as expansion.
Oh my, yeah.
Just openness.
Yes.
And freedom.
And
right?
Beautiful, relaxing, calming, freedom. And it resonates with us to feel that sense of the clouds.
Of expansiveness and openness, of just a blue sky.
Comfort.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, without any clouds, you know what happens?
It's warm.
It gets hot.
The heat,
The heat was hot. I like that.
I do too.
Most heat is hot.
It truly is. And then, the interesting thing too is that most people, I think most people appreciate a sauna more with the hot and dry in that way because we have a sauna in this world. And if they want to get into a pool, then they can get the humidity. But I feel like that's what the sauna is. It's almost like a description of something that we can appreciate. It's a deep understanding of the appreciation of warm, dry ground
Right.
and a
the
blue
heat
sky.
was hot
Yes,
and
this
the
is.
ground was dry.
And then, just as you said,
The air was full of sound.
yes, that frequency. Yes.
I'm sure also, literally, they were hearing the birds singing and the wind rustling the leaves of the trees.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, yes, the air was full of sound.
Full of it, yeah. It was just so full of the frequency of vibration. And that is, I think that's beautiful. And then, I love the chorus. I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to be out of the rain.
For me, that desert is that place of, for me, the rain is the sadness, the grief, the anxiety, the disturbance within that part of, in other words, I'm awakening, I'm on this journey. And it's been raining a lot in my life. There's been gray clouds and storms and right? I mean, that people can, it's a metaphor.
It is a metaphor.
A metaphor of the trying times in life.
Yes.
That's, it's raining again kind of thing.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
There's no sun out. And people want the sun. They want that blue sky.
They like the dry warmth.
Right. And the desert on a horse with no name.
Yes. I think that's a reference to an assistant. And I think that assistant is something that is the horse that is no name. Now, I don't know what to call that necessarily.
I call it creator. I've been through a desert on a horse with no name. So no name, for me, that horse with no name is, okay. That poem of Footprints in the Sand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you're in the rain and everything's going bad in your life, remember what that poem says? That individual looked up at Jesus, at God, whatever, and said, how come in the most trying times of my life, in the rain, there's only one set of footprints? In other words, you left me when I needed you the most.
Right, yeah.
And what was the response?
Then was where I carried you.
A horse with no name.
That so resonates with me because that's what I was thinking, and I love that you just said it that way.
Yes. If anyone has ever ridden a horse, you become one with the horse. That is how you move with the horse.
It's true.
Like Avatar, I loved that movie when the hair, the braid, he stuck it in the horse's braid. And they became one.
Yeah.
And
it's
technically that's really what happens.
That is what happens.
You ride a horse. The horse feels your frequency.
It definitely does.
And connects with you.
Definitely.
The rider and the horse become one.
Yes. I have had that experience, not just riding, but just taking care of horses.
Yeah.
Just taking care of them because they're very large animals.
Yes.
And I couldn't agree with you more.
So this is a beautiful song. I'm in a desert now. So in other words, I'm in that place of of
Calm.
well, actually, everything's drying. It's dried out. It's hot. It's, it feels good to be out of the rain. You can't remember your name if you've ever experienced a desert, which I think I did one time drive through part of the desert in California. Nobody's there.
Nobody's there. There's nothing else. Yeah.
Life, it's difficult to sustain life
It does
in a
exist
desert.
out there, yes.
Because there is no rain.
Yeah.
There's, it's dry.
Yeah,
It's simply just sand and heat.
It is. It's, in a way, it's very biblical.
Yes, exactly.
And it's interesting that things do actually live in those kinds of environments. They thrive. There are things that thrive in those kinds of environments. However, I guess, it really does seem like somewhere that would have very little disturbance.
Correct. And in the desert, you can't remember your name. Remember? Because there ain't no one for to give you no pain.
Yes. The desert of the mind, the desert of the inner journey.
Mm-hmm. So when you are in that place by yourself in the desert, riding a horse with no name, because you always have someone with you.
Always.
Always. You're never alone.
Never alone.
Ever. Even in the desert, you are not alone.
Never alone. Never alone. Absolutely.
We are so connected to not only one another, we are that beautiful source that we come from.
Yes.
We all are an aspect, a part, whatever you wish to call it, of that beautiful goddess, God, Buddha, creator, love.
Yeah. Love, yes.
Intelligent love.
Yes.
The energy, the force that creates us. We are it.
We are it, yes. We are the essence of it.
And it's always with us. That's the horse with no name.
Yeah.
In my truth.
No, I'm right there with you.
And no one to give you no pain.
No one, yeah.
I love that. In other words, when you are in that place by yourself, riding your horse.
It's pain-free, beauty-free. It's timeless. It is just the most beautiful thing.
No one, because the thought of you disappears.
It's gone. It's evaporated. It's become like the water in the desert.
I love the way you just said that, Bruce. That was beautiful. Yes, it evaporated.
It just evaporated.
So after 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. In other words, after 2 days of being in that space of really, I want to call it enlightenment, but
getting deep.
Yes, in that desert place, in other words, alone with you and your creator.
Yes.
All of a sudden, reality comes back.
And we got a little sunburn.
Yes. You can't stay there.
No.
You could, but then you would be what you are without this physical being.
Exactly.
You would be your spirit.
Yes.
You would be your light.
Your soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You would be that desert. You would be that horse with no name.
Yes.
However, you are still physical.
Yes.
We all are still physical on this beautiful physical earth. And therefore,
after 3 days.
I got sunburned.
Yeah.
After 2 days.
After 2 days.
2 days. Yes, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert, fun. I love that.
Yeah.
The fact that most people wouldn't think a desert was fun, especially when there's no water and their skin is turning red.
Right. They're getting sunburned. There's no water and it's hot.
Right.
But then, I was looking at a riverbed and the story it told of a river that flowed. That to me is so beautiful because that is so ancient. So
made me sad to think it was dead.
But if that's telling you a story, then it isn't dead.
That's true.
You know,
It's his
it
perception.
is his perception. Exactly.
In other
Yeah.
words, in this physical reality, there was a river that once flowed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And therefore, that emotion of physicality came through and made him sad. To think that the river was dead,
Quote unquote.
quote unquote.
Yes.
But it wasn't.
No, because they're telling him a story,
Yeah.
and letting him know that it was still alive, and his waterfall of energy and things is still flowing.
Right. And of course, we go back to the chorus then, where he's been through the desert on a horse with no name, feeling good to be out of the rain.
Out of that rain,
right?
yeah.
In the desert, you don't even need to remember your name.
You don't need it. Yeah.
Because no one's causing you any pain.
Yeah, not even yourself.
All pain that comes from within.
Yeah.
We create our reality.
We do. Yeah.
Right. I absolutely love this next lyric, Bruce. And you know why, right?
I do.
Yes. After how many days?
9.
9. Repeat that.
After 9 days.
9 days.
Very important number.
Very important. In numerology, 9 is completion. It means the end of a cycle.
That's
because
amazing.
after that comes 10, which is what?
2
1.
digit, or well, 1. Yes.
Yes, which is a new beginning.
Yes.
9 is such this was so, it jumped out at me like,
Yeah.
ah!
No, of course.
Yeah.
It's
my journey, this particular part of my journey has been completed.
Wow.
Because after 9 days,
yes.
I was able to let the horse run free.
Yes.
In other words, I can let go of that, having to have that security, and I can walk alone now.
You could also think of it as like they thought they were the ones letting the horse run free, but the horse realized that its job had been completed. It just like you're saying, after that cycle had completed, it was
9
like
days.
This entity, this soul, is now ready to fly this bird's nest on its own. I agree, because the desert had turned to sea. There were plants and birds and rocks and things. There was sand and hills and
rings.
Yes, and I think
in other
that's
words, he came full circle.
Full circle. Yes.
This particular journey he's on came full circle.
It completed its cycle.
It completed after 9 days.
That's amazing.
Right. And then
the ocean.
They go in
oh my
to
gosh.
talk about this very interesting lyric where the ocean is a desert with its life underground and a perfect disguise above.
Yeah.
Under the cities lies a heart made of ground, but the humans will give no love.
I think we are learning now to give the earth love, because that's somewhat how I feel like that is an indication of that, is that there is so much power and energy and beauty that comes from this life underground, which is the heart that is made of ground. I feel that could be a reference there to the earth mother in its own way, and the ocean being kind of almost like a protective portion of that biosphere of the earth, an extension of it. I think some of us think of the water as the blood, and or the air as the fire, and the things that are the portions of, as I stumble over these references, the portions of our existence on this sphere, not just the sphere as the ground, but the sphere as all of the things in it, in the atmosphere, in all of those parts.
Mm-hmm. And what is really coming to mind right now is, as above, so is below.
Yes.
So,
I love it.
In other words, the ocean is a desert with its life underground.
Yes.
there is so much life in the ocean. And we, just like a desert, we can't really exist there as a human being. And therefore, we don't even give it a second thought much, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, yeah, there's the ocean. Yeah, there's life in the ocean. But do we really love it? Do we really pay it mind as above, so below?
So below, yeah.
And even below that ocean floor is where I see this under the cities, which are the coral reefs.
Yes, the organic cities of life. Yeah, they're
Lies a
buildings.
heart made of ground.
Yes.
And for me, that is Gaia's heart.
Yes.
That is Mother Earth's heart.
Yeah.
In
yeah.
the center of the earth that people just don't understand as they will,
Yeah.
as they go on their journey
Yes, as they
of awakening
yeah.
through the desert.
Absolutely, yeah.
On
yeah.
a horse with no name, allowing the sun to burn your skin.
Yes.
And yes, being sad of the things you're leaving behind.
Absolutely.
Because for me, the river that flowed was my past life.
Right, yeah.
Things in the past, things I've had to let go of.
Yeah.
They no longer exist.
Yeah.
And yes, you can see them as dead.
Right.
And it's okay
It
to be
is,
sad
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Because we are human.
Yes.
And we are here in this physical body.
Yeah.
Seeing and being and surrounded by plants and birds and rocks and things.
Yes.
And sands and hills and rings.
And rings. and
Yes.
that's in some ways the rings being circular. In some ways, you could think of it as the translations that some people have done of the Emerald Tablets, where they talk about the fact that the planets and things are circular, they're spherical, and they're circular shapes. And the things that move in angles are things that are in space that are not necessarily in harmony with the circular shapes. But there's also a reference to the number 9 in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And those are the names of the beings in that kind of retelling, I believe.
And aren't there 9 planets or something like that?
Yes. And
anyway, 9 is such a beautiful
number. But no, I agree. It's the parts of the journey that everybody gets to go on. That's going to become more and more obvious as time moves so fast. But I think that is, an amazing way of looking at this, because I love this song. I just never thought of looking at it with these eyes.
I know.
It's so beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Allison, so much for bringing back this memory in my life of I have been on my horse with no name. And I hope that all of you can find your horse with no name.
Absolutely.
Get on and ride, baby, ride.
Yes.
Because life is such a beautiful, fun journey.
It really is.
And yes, the first part of your journey, you're going to look at life and everything's going to be shiny and new and beautiful. You're going to hear and feel the flies buzzing. And then it's going to get hot and you're going to go through a desert.
Yes.
But that horse is going to carry you.
It will carry you.
And you're going to see things like a riverbed that once flowed, which is what you have let go of.
Yes.
And it's okay to be a little bit sad about that, right?
Yeah. Well, we learn from our past. We learn what we're educated. And if we couldn't remember the things that we've been taught and that we need to know from the past, then we wouldn't feel things from our past. the two go hand in hand. We can't experience this life without having a memory, because that would mean that we wouldn't remember how to read and write.
Well,
And
and I believe that's why we're here.
yes, absolutely.
To experience life.
Absolutely. And
So, thank you.
yes.
Find your horse.
Yes.
With a horse with no name.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And if any of you all would like to hear your song, please send your requests to
lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. That's lyricalwisdomshow@gmail.com. We can also receive requests at 99classicrock@gmail.com. That's 99classicrock@gmail.com. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Bruce. This was a fun day.
Beautiful.
I love your horse, by the way. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yours ain't too shabby itself.
Thank you, guys.